A very good afternoon to all. Welcome to this webinar. I think we should wait for a couple of minutes to join the participants. Okay, I think we will start with this webinar. So good afternoon to all and welcome to our 2024 quarter one engagement days session. This particular session focuses on regional engagement. So this webinar is an effort to communicate the process and timeline for the program deployment in 2024. So for your information, this presentation will be recorded and will be shared. So if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A button to ask the questions during the presentation also, or we have a separate Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So this is our agenda for the today. In this agenda, we will be covering about the introduction about myself and a little bit about the AII and going in detail with explaining about the our programs. Further, it is important that what are the roles and responsibility during the deployment of the programs for the all stakeholders that we will be covering. And an important part is for calendar 2024. How many cohorts are there? What will be the process of recruiting for that particular cohort? And how we are going with recruitment phase and starting the kickoff for the project for quarter one. That will be explained. And in our guest speaker session, we have Dr. Siva Parithi from Bluebeam Limited to share his journey with AII about the program deployment, as well as also sharing the experience gathered during this particular program's deployment. And at the end, we have a question and answer sessions for 10 minutes. There we will be having or will be answering all the questions which you are having. So warm welcome to all in this regional engagement session, and myself, Dr. Lakshmikant Javle, a regional lead for South Asia and Southeast Asia at Apparel Impact Institute. And I am responsible for creating and implementing the decarbonization strategy for the region. I am also responsible for aligning AI's carbon leadership program to drive the facility level impact and promote the best practices, which is tailored to the region. Along with me, we have a co-host, Ms. Disha Pandey. She is a manager for manufacturer engagement and supporting throughout this session. So let's see about a little bit about the AI and what programs right now we are offering as a to drive the decarbonization in the sectors. So the Apparel Impact Institute is a global non-profit organization which is registered in US. Our main mission is to identify the proven impact solutions which is giving the positive impact on the environment. Also, with identifying, funding them, then scaling them so that we can reach that solution, or that solution can reach to the maximum people into the textile, apparel, and footwear industry supply chain. And finally, after scaling, we are also involved in measuring the positive impact created with that particular solution. So all, we can see that identifying, funding, scaling, and measuring the impact of the solutions. And in this journey, we have philanthropic partners and donors, we have brand and retailers, we have qualified implementation programs and experts, and finally, also manufacturers and supplier to support this decarbonization drive. Now, for the AI history, it all began in 2007 with Clean by Design program, which was initiated to enhance the energy and water efficiency in the mills through implementation of the 10 best practices. Now, this is a very first program, and which is a not very first program, but which is mainly focusing on the energy efficiency part. But subsequently, in 2009, there is a Sustainable Apparel Coalition was established to collectively transform the apparel industry through the standardized measurement practices. So those like say Higg Index and all these things. Now, in 2017, actually the Apparel Impact Institute emerged as a non-profit organization founded by NGO leaders, including the SSE, Sustainable Train Initiative, that is IDH, and NRDC, alongside with the industry partners such as Target Corporation, GAP, PVH, and HSBC. Now here, the AII is responsible originally to recognize the need with the apparel and brands and retailers, and accordingly respond to deploying the programs for that particular need. By 2019, AII integrated the Clean by Design program, which is started in, or which is the part of 2007. To scale that program happens in 2019 for mill. And the impact program, and this program actually started with reaching to the maximum, or we have started reaching to the maximum mills with this particular drive. And in the following year, AII joined the Apparel Alliance in collaboration with SSE, Textile Exchange, ZDSC, and shared the goal of driving the greater impact solution, or sharing the impact solutions to meet the sustainability targets. Now, in 2022, AII launched the Flash and Climate Fund, which is designed to unlock around 2 billion in capital towards reducing the carbon emission by the of the sector by 45% until 2030. So during this year, the Clean by Design, which is previously the part of NRDC, which is transferred as an intellectual property transfers happen from NRDC to the AII in 2022. Now in 2023 and beyond, like this is a old slide, so I can say beyond 2023 and in 2024, we are actually looking for a quality, scalability, and profitability solutions from the mill perspective. And we are working on that through this engagement drives or various strategies for that matter. Now here are the few of the stakeholder we have listed, like industry partner, funders, and other partners. So this is again a very small list. We have a very comprehensive list. If we put all the logos or all the names here, it might be covers all complete slides. So right now we are focusing only on the brands or the funders which currently we are working with, or we have worked with. So how is our approach for that particular drive? So to achieve this, our primary impact area, we identified focus areas where the intensive research that we have been conducted and published by WRI and AII. You might have already read that report, and this is a particular slide, or this is a particular graphics from that particular report, where we are saying that there are 6 interventions would help the sector to deliver the reduction which is required to 1.5 degree pathway. Okay, so if you see the material production either in a tier 3, which is actually a 52%, and we can say the highest contributor to the emission, followed by the raw material extraction, which is a 24%. So therefore, AI programs actually focuses on the material production with the energy efficiency and other interventions, so that we can target the highest emissions areas or tier to reduce the reduce the emission from that particular sector. So our Clean by Design program is also based on the same approach, where we are working on energy efficiency and water efficiency management, and implementing the practices so that we can reduce the emission for the particular tier. Now, these are the 5, we can say 5 steps for our carbon leadership program. So in 2020, AII collaborated with the Reset Carbon to launch the Carbon Leadership Program, which emerged the efforts of the multiple apparel brands working to reduce the carbon output for their supply chain. Now, Carbon Leadership Program brings actually together the action-oriented brands in the apparel industry to accelerate the implementation of their supply chain carbon targets, while also standardize the approaches with their suppliers. So all and all together, it's a collective efforts, we can say, and this involves the 5 steps. Steps 1, which is nothing but the benchmarking, where there is a carbon target setting. We call it as a CTA. Carbon target setting will happen in this particular step 1, and benchmarking is done using the Carbon Tech Assessment tool. Again, there are experts involved in this Carbon Tech Assessment tool, and they are doing and check the level of the facility from that, or benchmark the facility from that tool. And once the benchmarking is done, the step 2 is the carbon target setting. Now we know at what level facility is right now with this particular assessment. Then in carbon target setting, which actually identifies the carbon reduction potential of that particular facility. Again, for that there is a tool available, or expert using the tool for assessment for that particular carbon target setting. And with that tool, they are giving the carbon reduction target, and what are the action plan required to meet that target is done in the step 2. So benchmarking done, carbon target setting done. So all in all, right now we are in path, but in step 3, if you see the implementation, there are various programs and solutions are available, which is actually deployed or used by the facility to reduce the carbon emission, what they have set through carbon target setting. Okay, so step 3, I can say, is a important thing or important part to actually get the reduction of carbon emission through various program and solution. Then step 4 comes as a monitoring the progress against the action plan. Since we have done the setting, we have done the various programs to meet that particular carbon target which we have set, but we have to continuously monitor, are we in track or not, or do we need to change the action plan, do we need to evolve our action plan? So all these things done through the carbon target monitoring, which is nothing but the step 4. And at the step 5, if you see, it's a third-party data verification. So data validation. So actually, the data validation is a concept to that we wanted to share a credible data reporting and whatever the data we have done through this various program. So whatever the outcome is coming, this should be a credible data. So we are looking for the third-party data verification for that matter, and this is right now under the concept phase as a step number 5. Now, if you see this in this slide, you can see the various impact programs of AII. And in column 1, you are seeing that these programs fits in which step, because we have seen the step number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what are the steps they are right now fitting in. What is the solution? What type of solution it is? There are 2 solutions actually. There a solution which is already with the AII, and second is solution which is generated through the CSP, Climate Solution Portfolio. So there are, that's another part which is listed over here. Now, if you see that applicability level is to applicability by tier wise is given here. So if I take the example of Clean by Design, it falls in step 3, which is nothing but the implementation phase. And it is a AII solution, and it is applicable to tier 1, tier 2, and it gives the GHG reduction for as well as energy efficiency improvement, and then water reduction. So this is the example. Let's take the second example, like say carbon tech assessment. In CTA, again, it's a AI, since it is a assessment benchmarking step, so it is a step 1, AI solution applicable to tier 1, tier 2, and it will give you about the GHG reduction. It will base on the energy efficiency, water reduction, as well as renewables and coal phase out. So these all points are covered in this particular solution when there is a carbon tech assessment happening into the facility. So that way, if you see, these are the programs which are in the orange shade. They are available at scale right now. The programs which are in gray shades, which are at the model stage, and there are few programs which is at the early stage. We are piloting that particular programs, and once that is successfully implemented or successfully giving the results, it will move to the available at scale phase. Now, for every programs which we deploy, there are roles and responsibility associated with it. So in this slide or in this part, we will be going to check what are the roles and responsibility for each stakeholder involved in it. This slide may be little bit more content on it, but it is a very much important to understand about when any brand suggests any facility. So what is the roles of brand? What is the role of facility? What is the role of AII in that particular thing, and what expert will be doing in. So I will be covering quickly, but I feel it's a very important. So it's from the brand perspective, I will explaining the things what they need to do. So brand actually firstly they need to commit for the collective actions with this commitment and identifying and complying with the facility mapping to understand the extent of emission and their relation to each facility. Now with that, then they should see that whatever the facility they are nominating or recruiting, it is a which type of facility or what relation they have with that particular facility. So after that, they should introduce the factories for the decarbonization programs and solution, saying that these are the solutions available right now with the AI and which type of solution is best fitted to them. Then the establish the facility support and help them to understand about what is the outcome of the particular solution and help them to get and participate into the program. Then, if required, sponsor the facility through the program fee. It could be a full part of sponsorship. It could be a partial sponsorship, and then further secure the necessary documentation with the commitment letters. Because once the commitment letter signed by the facility saying that they are committed for this particular program, they are enrolled into the program, and then the continuation of the program deployment will happen in that particular facility. And at the end, they should support as and when required during the implementation phase of the program. They should join the milestone meeting. They should join the others meetings which we are conducting or which experts are conducting with the facility during the implementation phase. On the other hand side, if we consider from the facility point of view, they have to commit again for the work, because it's not like that brand is suggesting for the facility and the facility is not really willing to take an active participation in the program. In that case, it will be very difficult to implement the action plan which is identified by experts. So it is very important that facilities should proactively commit for the decarbonization drive. Then they should have a not separate, but a dedicated team identified with the roles and responsibility, that if the Clean by Design program is implemented into the facility, this person will do the overall program monitoring, this person will do the implementation, this person will do the monitor, the actual follow-up and everything. So that team should be there. and then ensure the active participation. That's one thing. Then provide access to the experts to and with the access to the experts, they should be transparent in telling the requirement of to the experts, saying that these are the problems we are facing with this particular utility or the processes, and then in that case the expert will help them to solve that problem, and could be help them to develop an action plan on that particular problem. And finally, communicate proactively about the progress, or if they have any concern or if they have any suggestion with the program to the AI staff and expert organization. That's our role with and responsibility with brands as well as facilities, which we discuss. Now we will see about what are the responsibilities of experts in that matter. So experts actually organize all these programs. So CS, they have to actually follow the SOP, standard operating procedure, for implementation or deploying program onto the field. So it start right from the kickoff meeting to collection of the data, on-site visit, development of action plan. All these milestones we will see into the further slides. But these are all SOPs they need to follow. Then guide and advise factories for during the change process, provide regular updates to the AII, and so that AII can communicate that update to the brands. Then submit the results for the AII internal quality review. So whatever they are identifying the action plan with the saving potential, ROI, investment requirement, all these action plan will be submitted to the AII. AII will do the quality review and then approve, and then it will be shared with the brands or facilities. And then facilitate the brands and AII participation during the program deliverables, and inform AII when there is any issue arises during the implementation phase, because it's a quite long 1 year of implementation phase of the program, which experts is doing into the facilities. All these about the experts. Also, there is AII having their own roles and responsibility when it comes into the deployment of the program. So what is responsibility of us as a AII is identify and select and train qualified expert partners. So we are into identifying the whatever the expert right now we are doing the projects or the programs deployment into the regions. They are well trained or qualification. We also train them for the using the tool, and how what are the things need to be followed during the implementation or the program phase. That will be done. So also we are involved in accreditation of the expert in near future, and we are developing a tool for, or developing a document for that one. Then aggregate the program demand. Once there are the multiple brands giving the facilities, then we try to aggregate the program demand and see that how we can deploy the program. Then monitor the program progress and impact, and communicate that program progress to the brands with quarterly brand reports. Resolve any challenges occurred during the implementation phase, because yes, it's a long time, and there's some time it may happen that there are challenges with the traveling, challenges with the facility modification, some work going on. In that case, actively take the participation and understand about what are the challenges and how we can see that, or how we can tackle that challenges to meet the timeline of the program. And finally, conduct quality assurance of the program deliverable. Whatever the reports shared by the experts, it will go through all the quality reviews, and then only it will be shared with the brands and the facilities. Then the whole commercial relationship with the brands, expert and facility, and report progress and impact. So ultimately, these are all the responsibility, roles and responsibility of AII point of view. So all and all together, each and every stakeholder have their own roles and responsibility when it comes to the deployment of the program. And they have to follow these roles and responsibilities so that we can smoothly deploy the programs and get the desired outcome of the program. In the next slide, we will be covering about the program deployment and 2024 calendar, which is very much important, because this we have started with this year, because previously it was like there were nomination coming from the facility, and we are starting the cohorts. But now we have a set calendar for each we can say quarter, and we can see in the coming slides for that matter. So Now here our key principle for the program deployment is aligning the collaborative and further scale of the measures. And so to facilitate the systematic program deployment, we have set the quarterly kickoff dates for all brands as well as programs set by the AII. Now this will help to systematically start the program, track the progress, and however, if there is a program which is in pilot phase, it can start with this program, but it may also start with the another time as well. So it may not, I can say it is not applicable for the pilot program right now, but for the all mainstream or scalable programs, this program calendar is mandatory, or we are following that religiously. Now programs, here you see that 2024 calendar made available. We will be making available to all the brands, where they will know about what timeline is for nomination, what timeline for the engagement, what timeline for the next webinar, and when will be the actual kickoff. And the programs are running in the program specific and cohorts by the region. So if it is a India region, Bangladesh region, or the Vietnam region, or say Europe region or China region, it will be by region, it will be running by the region. And all these programs are managed regionally through the program manager. So for South Asia, I am the responsible. For Greater China, my colleague Sherry will be responsible. For Europe, for Daniela is responsible. For Vietnam, Indonesia, and America, Patricia is responsible. And all the CTA, CTS, and CTM, carbon target assessment, carbon target setting, and carbon target monitoring, Patricia is responsible for the program management. And all the brands are responsible for factory recruitment, so that they will give us the nomination list. And then once that nomination list finalized, then they are responsible for collecting the commitment letters and sharing that commitment letters with our team member. And further, they are also responsible for sponsoring or co-sponsoring of the program fees. Now, all these impact programs, whatever they are there, it will be done the quality review by AII internally, and then only it will be released to the brands or the facility after the quality check approval from the internal team. Then AII validates the implementation programs and result and impact. So we have a quality assurance manager who is looking after all the quality aspects of the report, and then only it will be shared with the external parties. Then in the next slide, this is a very important slide to tell you about what will be happening or how the calendar for 2024 will be. Now, this is a complete calendar for program deployment for 2024. There will be 4 cohorts. Q1 names as a spring, then Q2 as a summer, Q3 as autumn, and Q4 as a winter. So there are 4 cohorts as per the season. And here we can see an example of Q1 cohort, where it all starts with AII with informing the current cohort details. Like here, AI will start with informing about the current cohort detail and example, and sharing the when it will start. Then the brands will role will be to send the initial nomination list to our manager of manufacturer engagement, which is Disha. And then with this list, actually, she will review the details and nomination and check the possibility of the co-nomination of the facility and further plans accordingly. Okay. Now this timeline is giving all this detail is 1st of February 2024. And as a next step, for the facility recruitment starts from the brand and retailer in February 2024. To support the recruitment and facilitate the decision, there will be a webinar from the AI side for the nominated facilities, so that they can understand about the program detail and they can take the decision for the joining the program. And once it is done, again, then the next milestone will the brands need to send the signed commitment letter. So once facility says that, oh, we are in for the program, then brands need to contact to the facility and ask for the signed commitment letters. And that signed commitment letters need to send to again back to our manager for the manufacturer engagements, Ms. Disha, so by 13th March. Okay. Now with this confirmation, the factory secure the position in that particular cohort and program. And now it all comes into the confirm the program logistic with AII, and then at the end of the March, 28, 29, expert will send them the invitation for the kickoff event. Okay, so all in all, you can see that it all started with cohort launch, with nomination, with factory recruitment, with explaining about them, then further finalizing the nomination, getting the commitment letter, then work on logistic and start the kickoff. So this is all about the spring cohort. And similarly, we are going to do this is for, sorry. Similarly, we are going to do this for the other cohorts, like Q2 cohort, Q3 cohorts, and Q4 cohorts. And whatever the key dates are there, that will be provided in advance to the brands. Now, what happens when the facility nominates for facility get nominated for the programs, or brand nominates the facility for that particular cohort? So brands reach out to the AII with their nomination list. And there is again here, the thing is that we are checking and cross-checking that, confirming that is there any possibility of co-nomination, that if the two different brands suggested only one facility, then can be it is co-nominated. In that case, that possibility is checked. Then after confirming the nomination list, then invite the factories for the webinar, so that they can understand about the program in very well manner. And then AII program manager, regional lead secures the capacity for the next service provider, so that whoever is service provider, like say in this case in India, Bangladesh right now, Bluewin is a service provider for deploying the carbon the CBD program. So how much are their capacity and all these things will be checked by the regional lead from the AI side. Then brands will get the commitment letter from the facilities and provide that final list to the AII. And with that thing, the logistic gathering and everything is happening. And ultimately, expert organization verifies the facility information, what the information is collected during the what you say initial phase, and program kickoff starts. So once the program kickoff starts, it will run for the complete whole 1 year. And what are the milestones for that particular program, that I will explain you in the coming slide. Now these are again, this could be a repeat slide, but here you can see the exact dates we have mentioned about the Q1 cohort. So the AII will send out the emails to the brands by 31st January. Then brands have to provide the nomination list to the AII by 1st February. Then AII will confirm the co-nomination and check the internally about how many nominations come, and check that possibility by 6th of February. Then brand start the recruitment and invite for the webinar by 15th February. There will be a webinar in between the 4th and 8th March. Then brand once it is webinar done, facility is ready with the program participation, then they have to share the commitment letter to the brands, and brand will give that share to the commitment letter to the AII by 13th of March. And then kickoff of the program will happen between 15th and 18th of April. So these all dates are set for this Q1, and we are going to follow this particular set of dates for implementation of all the programs of the AII. Now for spring launch and the other milestone, here you can see that these are the regions right now globally. We have active programs running. So I can tell you about Southeast Asia. In Pakistan, Cambodia, right now we're running with the Clean by Design Chemistry and Wastewater Management program. In Vietnam, we are running with the Clean by Design Energy and Water Efficiency. Along with that, we are running with Chemistry and Wastewater Management program also. In India, Bangladesh, again, both the programs we are running. So, and Indonesia, And in Indonesia, the chemistry and water efficiency program is running. So from the active program perspective, you can see these are the programs right now running into the South Asian, Southeast Asia region. For carbon target assessment and carbon target setting are actually available and running in various regions. So it is around more than 20 countries. So we could not able to highlight here, but yeah, it's available and it's already running in more than 20 countries actively. So now for the spring 2024 cohort, which is a Q1 cohort, we are having Pakistan and Vietnam, which there are some few facilities already confirmed. So we are planned for the Q1 in 2024. So you can submit your nomination for this particular cohort if you have any facilities based in Pakistan and Vietnam. And along with that, we are ready to start the clean by design, carbon tech assessment, and carbon target setting programs in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Vietnam region. So if you have any nomination list, if you have any facility list which you are thinking that you can suggest for the any program of the AII, you can just send it out to our team and we will get back to you on that particular information about that particular thing. For pricing, you can contact us. We will give the because the pricing varies from the country to country. So you need to contact to us and then we will give you the pricing for that particular program and region wise. Since this is there are multiple brand representative available here. So I'm just covering a couple of slides, which may not be from the South Asian, Southeast Asia. So this is from the Europe. There is right now plan is clean by design, carbon target setting, and clean by design for the leather. So actually in Q1, these are three programs is planned for the Italy region. And other than Italy, Turkey, Egypt, Tunisia, Portugal, and Spain, we are ready with clean by design and carbon target setting, carbon target assessment programs. You have to just contact if you have any facility falling into the region, you can contact to the regional lead, where I can give you the contact at the end of the presentation. Same with China. Plan for the 2024 Q1 is CBD plus, renewable energy. There are a few pilots running on and training. We are doing it. So these are the plans one, and globally you can give the nomination for the chemistry program also and CTA, CTS also to us for the if you have any factory located in China for this Q1 cohort. Now to tell you more detail about the timing, or we can say the milestone for the particular particular program. So here this is the one example of clean by design, which is our classic program. So this clean by design program again focuses on low hanging fruits for energy efficiency and water efficiency point of view. So this is a 12 to 13 months program. It all starts with kickoff event. So we have seen in previous slide where I can show you the slide. So here, kickoff phase. So the program will start from here and experts will engage. Then they will send the pre-visit questionnaire to the facilities who is recruited for the particular program. They fill that data and send back to the expert. Expert analyze that data and do a on-site visit to understand, or we can say a baseline visit to understand about the identifying the opportunity of improvement or making the action plan for identifying the energy efficiency and water efficiency. Along with this particular milestone, there is a group training also, because this clean by design program is not only for the identification or implementation of the program, but also for the capacity building. So there will be a capacity building from the facility point of view through the expert. This is one, and this is second. So there are two capacity building happening in the chemistry and chemistry and water program by the experts. So after this on-site visit, they make an action plan, prioritize the action plan, finalize the action plan, and share that action plan with the facility. They discuss that action plan, which are the feasible thing, which are the not feasible thing, what are the challenges they are facing for that implementation of the action plans. And here we say it is a debriefing of the action plan. And once that debriefing done, then facility says that, okay, we are ready with this 8 action plan or 9 action plan or 15 action plan to implement in facility. So here the beauty of the program is that the expert will do a one-to-one hand-holding for the facility to implement all these action plans into the facility over the time period of the next, we can say, 8 to 10 months. Okay, so here one-to-one consultancy engagement will be there with the desktop engagement to ask about the progress of the implementation, help them to understand about if they have any challenges for the implementation. Also, there is a midterm meeting at the 6th month. There will be the midterm meeting. So if I consider there will be kickoff on April, September will be a midterm meeting asking about how much they have achieved or how much action plan they have completed, what challenge they are faced. And again, it will continue here along with the capacity building. And at the here, once they implement the action plan, there will be the validation of the implementation by the expert going into the on-site to check that how many things are implemented or how many action plans are implemented and what outcome is coming after implementation of the action plan. And finally, they will report the final report and it will be shared with the AII internal team for the quality review. And once it is done, it will be shared with the brands and the facilities. And there will be the final recognition or award ceremony will happen to give them the recognition that they have participated in the program and successfully reduce the carbon emission by this percentage. So if you see one and all these programs, what we are having are systematically milestones have identified and created. This is only the example for carbon clean by design. There is a clean by design plus also there, clean by design chemistry and wastewater also there, carbon tech assessment, carbon target setting is also there. So every program is having their monitoring, milestone graph like this, and it will be followed for that deployment of that program for that particular region. So till now we have seen about what AII having the programs, what are the roles and responsibility. We have seen about the calendar of the program, what are the things right now to follow when it comes to the deployment of the program, and what are the timeline. As an example, we have seen the timeline for the Clean by Design program. And now here we have one guest speaker, Dr. Shiva Pariti from Lubin Limited. Now this person does not need any introduction, but so just to introduce or to know about him, I have kept this slide, but I will prefer him talking on more about the subject and explaining about his experience with the deployment of our programs by Lubin. Dr. Shiva.
Thank you, Lakshmikant. So it's like what Lakshmikant has already confirmed about the various projects, which I would like to just share what I have the experience with AII on the various projects. So we are working on CBD, energy and water, CBD, chemistry and wastewater, carbon leadership program, CTA, CTS, CTM, and the other projects which probably are not going to be discussed right now. So the next slide. So these are the activities which we are currently covering, and for the CBD, energy and water, we are having in Bangladesh, India, and in Central America cohorts. There are running cohort, there are 4, and the total number of mills which are 37. So I am asked to share about my experience. I just will give you a brief about what are the programs which are running, and I will then talk about what is my experience and how the program is running or how we are approaching with the program. So CBD chemistry and wastewater program, there are 5 cohorts running, and totally there are almost 24 mills and various brands which are involved in, and it is running in Bangladesh, India, China, and Cambodia right now. The next slide. So when you look into the other programs like CLP, CTA, and CTS, there are various multiple locations and various brands which are running right now, and over 80 plus mills are currently under the scope of this. So my experience of running or with AII programs, see, most of the times the programs are launched. We identify the gap or identify this the scope for the saving potential the saving potentials are very huge. Like, for example, my experience, there is up to 30% of saving potential available from the Bangladesh cohort, what I am seeing, and up to 10% in China cohort where the mills are around 14. So these are saving potentials identified. And then what is the good thing about the program of AII is it's not about saving potential identification. You have to have one-to-one consultancy with the factories, sit out and then have the debriefing using the CBD toolkit, so you have the consistency, transparency, and reliability of the saving potential. So you don't have to have different benchmark on how much saving you can achieve by changing the baseline. So CSP tool, CBD tool is having a clarity on how to achieve, how to calculate the saving potential. Now, after that, the first phase is over. The most important phase will start, that the you need to sit with the factory, make them realize what are the projects which they have to take, and then make them commit for at least 6 and at least 5% of GHG reduction. So that's the most important and challenging task which needs to be done. That also is completed. Then the most important and challenging task will happen is how the implementation is monitored and how the implementation support is needed. The most of the times our experience says that the implementation support is where the whole project lies at, and that is where the factories know what to do but they don't know how to implement it. So let us, for example, if we are asking for them to upgrade a particular activity, it could be a boiler upgrade retrofit, then they know what needs to be done. Then probably they need to go back to the specifications, they need to identify the vendor, they need to select the vendor, and then the vendor is implementing that, and then whether achievement of what is expected is achieving or not. This assessment and analysis requires some hand holding. That is the importance of the CBD on-site program, where Lakshmikant has shared about the debriefing to one-to-one consultancy and to implementation validation. So that is the time when we are spending time with. So some of the factories which we have started earlier were actually facing this kind of projects right now and support, and we are looking at how the factories are thinking, what kind of projects and proposals which are needed and support is needed, and then the trainings are needed, because most of the times they require a lot of trainings on specific requirements of how to select a particular vendor or a technology. So that is how I would say our experience is lying in, and we are actually experiencing it. It's basically the experience which we are sharing currently on the journey of the program. I would say that they have a very good program management team, been reviewing every month on time about the requirements to us, and been continuously monitoring all these phases and stages. So I would say the key assets or the points of the program is project management, program management with expert review, because all the data is being reviewed by an expert from the CBD on energy data. And then they have a tool which is consistent, which every one have to use it. And that's been getting developed and also getting implemented. The third part is about the consultants one-to-one engagement, and that's the most important part, where we are actually engaging with the factories and making them commit, and not just commit but also implement. So that's the continuous feedback is what it is. So the average reduction potential is identified, but then out of that, at least 10% to 20% in Bangladesh, I think we can say that by the end of the project, we will achieve 20% reduction of GHG, and in China, 10% of GHG is possible to achieve. So this is what is, I would say, the biggest challenge. I'm not talking about chemistry and wastewater, because that can be, again, a lot of things which we can talk about. So I would say that the time given to me is 10 minutes. I will give you time for question answers if you have any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Shiva. I think we'll take that questions at the later stage, because I think we have only last slide where we are sharing the contact details of our team, so that if they have any questions or any queries regarding the program which is right now running, and if they wish to participate. So this is the list of the contact details. If you can see here, if you want to get started with any programs implementation in the region for which is falls in South Asia and Southeast Asia, you can contact me at lakshmikant@apparelimpact.org. For somehow, if it is for Italy or Europe or China, you can contact my colleagues Sherry or Danelle. Or otherwise, you can always contact Disha since she is a manager for manufacturer engagement. You can contact her anytime. And otherwise, you can contact to Senior Director of Industry Engagement, Mr. Bryant@apparelimpact.org, so that you will get the response for the participation, or if any at all help required for any nomination or participation of the facilities to any program. So with this, I will stop here. And if you have any questions about the session, about the cohort starting, when will be the date, because it's already explained, you will be having this presentation, or we can say the recordings available. So you can go through that one also. But still, if you have any questions, you can ask here, and we try to answer them. Thank you so much. You can use the question and Q&A chat box for asking the questions.
We do have one question about SCAP, the Supplier Climate Action Program. Somebody has asked, what is a SCAP?
Okay, this program is under a model phase, so we are not having detail right now presentation or slides to show it here, but definitely we will reach with that program details to you by email. So we have notified you, or we have taken note of your email, and we will get back to you with full details about this program through email. Any other questions?
There's one more question which is asked about electrification of our water heating. They want a brochure for brand reference. So I had asked them if by CSP they meant concentrated solar power, but they haven't responded. Okay. But basically they're asking for a brochure about solar power. Yeah. I think we can send the resource to them.
Yeah, definitely. Because again, it's again a model phase, because it's under the CSP. So we are working on that, and so soon we are going to have a kind of kickoff for that particular project also. So we can send you the brochure for that one. Okay. Okay, we have got one questions regarding the financing mechanism, and then regarding with that financing of the project. So right now we are in stage of development of that particular strategy for the financing, and we are collecting the information. It's a very long, I can say a long and tedious process, with meeting all the banks with facility with their responses, and then meeting with the local bodies also to understand about how they can help us to create a strategy for unlocking $2 billion funds for the facilities. So right now we are not in position to give you detail about everything, or not everything, but even the thing that how it will work. But we have an external consultant hired, which is working the gathering the data for the Bangladesh region, India region, and on that, with that region we are getting the information, and with that information we are still under the development of strategy for that particular thing. So I think I'm afraid that I could not able to give you complete detail what is asked. Okay, then manufacturers to set up their scope.
So yes, for Rakesh's point, I can comment. Yes, correct, Rakesh. Right now, the list of pipeline mills are collected, and there is a team which is working with AII. I'm just telling because I am part of the task team, so that's the reason why I'm telling you that there is a financial options and the pilots are getting discussed about, the models are being discussed about, including IFC and including all other brands and local brands as well, and three different possibilities are being discussed, and then they will probably be piloted. The list of the approved mills from these cohorts will also be definitely be the first ones to lock it. That's also being conducted here. That's the whole plan.
Thank you, doctor. Because yeah, we already have some nominations which is pending, and we will start. So that's the only reason we are saying that there are some cohort which will be already planned in quarter one, and if we are also collecting the nomination along with that, so that if you have any other than that region, then you can definitely give us and we can plan for the cohort.
And about machineries, it's also one of the out of three programs which I am talking about. There is one where the OEMs are involved, and that is one part which are being vetted. Few of them are piloted. Yes, going to be piloted.
Yes, with I think there is one question on target setting. So yes, this will help to set the target for scope 1 and scope 2 for the facilities with the CTS program, carbon target setting program.
I like the term used, science aligned. Correct.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, our approach. See, we are checking all the options where we can fund or we can help the facilities to get the funds for the program, and for that matter, means as per the lot of discussion happens, we have seen that yeah, there are funds available, there are some communication gaps, there are some I can say how they don't know how to apply, how to create the documentation. So we are identifying each and every aspect required for getting that fund for the facilities. And along with the unlocking that funds, we are trying to help to capacity build for that particular facility, so that they, if there is any fund, then how they can go ahead with application of that particular thing. So all in all, I can say we are working on these things with developing all the aspect of funding to from the facility perspective. But definitely, it will not be kind of a grant funding where you are getting the funds, which is like without interest or only yeah. So you are whatever the getting funds, which is a low interest funding, and you can get it that for the implementation along with the programs what you are working. So if any programs at all gives you a high investment required, so you can use that kind of funding with which is having the lower interest rate compared to the market interest rate, and then you can go ahead with the implementation. So that is actually actual concept behind setting up that particular funding things. But there are a lot of challenges or what lot of inputs we are getting to develop that particular strategy, and we are working on that strategy for collecting all this information and developing a comprehensive like framework where facilities really get the money, and there should not be any stage where they say that, oh, because of funding we cannot implement this. So our aim is that the facility should say that yeah, we have that particular program or we have that particular solution which requires the funding, and funding is available with this particular tool. I hope I successfully answered this question because yeah, funding question is a lot more complicated to answer because we don't right now don't have anything to directly serve or directly give you as a overview or picture to the from that perspective. Okay, apart from that, if you have any suggestions, any things or any nomination list from your side for the program, you reach out to our team. We already shared the contact list with you. And I think we are on time with closing the session. If you don't have any questions, I thank you so much for participating this webinar, and we are looking forward for active participation in whole 2024 because this is the initiative we have started with this year, and we are very serious about following and meeting and deploying the programs in the region, not only the region but all over the globe, which with the experts. And I thank you, Dr. Shiva, for sharing his experience with the team and here, so that they are also having the opportunity to understand about what actually Bluebeam is doing when there is a program deployment or happening onto the scale of ground floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I will be closing this. In case you have any question, please reach out to our email. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Take care.